They haven't said anything about Casey Thompson's injury, when he's going to be back. Maybe somebody in the comments has heard something we haven't. But we sure hope we have him back sooner than later, because we got Michigan next week.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody else. I like to watch. I kind of like to study the second unit and third unit, and I noticed they played a lot more young kids on defense, it wasn't because of injuries. I liked it that Toby Wright's getting in there a lot. I think he's going to be really good. He kind of backs up Gifford and Kolarevic at the nickel position where JoJo Doman used to play, and he's a big kid and fast. His dad was all Big 8 for Nebraska, so I'm glad he's finally in there. He's had blood clots and all kinds of issues, but he looked good. So I didn't see anybody else really hurt from an injury update on defense, and I don't think anybody on offense.
No, not that I saw.
Yeah, and Ramir Johnson got in a lot more on offense, so I know he's been hurt. So
that's one thing we talked about last week. Ramir getting more playing time.
Yeah, no, that was good to see him in there. So, but yeah, I think they came out of the game relatively injury free. So
yeah, which is always a positive.
Yep. Yep.
You saw Casey Thompson on the sideline. He wasn't suited up in pads or anything, obviously, but you sure hope we can get some updates this week on that, because Michigan, obviously, they play Rutgers this evening, 6:30. Michigan 5th in the college football playoff ranking, or college football playoff rankings. That's going to be a really tough game. It was in 2018 when we went down there, and you think if we don't have Casey, it's going to be probably a similar result. But how about Mr. Mark, Caleb Tanner? Love seeing a sack out of him. And I don't want anyone to think we're putting all the blame on the defense. They've been the guys keeping us in the games. They played their hearts out. And Caleb Tanner, even though he missed that tackle in the fourth quarter, he had a much better game. I agree. It was good to see him in the sack.
He's one of those Husker players. All of a sudden, he didn't shine as much in his college career, and all of a sudden he'll go to the pros and he'll mature and do phenomenal, because he's 6'3" and about 240 and built like a running back. I mean, he's going to probably put on weight.
He looks like a stud. I mean, he's built like a stud.
He'll probably be a great pro, but he's just now starting to hit his stride and halfway through his senior year. So I'm proud for him, but it's like, what took so long? But anyway. Where did we get him from? He was a
Georgia. Georgia, that perennial all-time school in Georgia.
Yeah, because our ex-coach really wanted to make a mark and recruit in Georgia 2, 3, 4 years ago, because they, like Louisiana with Mickey Joseph, those are two states that have really good high school football that don't always get mentioned. And he's Georgia. That's right.
Mr. Mark, he's getting it right. Mr. Mark, that's right. And we actually took Caleb Tanner from, I believe it was Auburn, who we were fighting with, to get him. It was the national signing day when we got him. I was in class when that happened. But, that was a big-time win. But, no, very good to see him get a sack, a guy that's played more games than any Husker in the history of Nebraska football. He started more games in a row than anybody else. I thought he played really well today. I give hats off to the defense. Even though in the second half they gave up some plays, I thought they played their hearts out. I did.
Yep.
So, all right. So injury updates. It's really just Casey Thompson. There weren't any other injuries today that we saw. Let's go in now to player of the game. Jeffrey, take it away.
Well, I'm going to pick the Minnesota young quarterback, Alex K, because I don't want to mess his name up. The redshirt freshman. Like I said, he came in and he just started throwing deep passes. And the coach even said after the game, PJ Fleck, he said, we just opened it up more downfield, which I wish we would have done more like Logan did the last two passes at the end of the game for Nebraska. And they opened it up, and it opened up their running game, and the kids just let a couple of deep ones fly and made some completions. So he played without fear. He was aggressive. He ran good, and he showed a lot of spirit. And so I think he changed the momentum in the second half for Minnesota. So
I don't think anyone expected that, right? A backup quarterback coming in, because they were doing, I was watching College Football Game Day, this morning, and Tanner Morgan, the starting quarterback for Minnesota, his dad was a big part of the program, passed away recently. It had me in tears. It was a great story this morning. But
Really?
I did not expect when he got knocked out for them to start doing some stuff on offense. That shocked me, and you got to give your hats off or tip your hats to Minnesota there. That backup coming in and playing with guts, throwing the ball downfield. I don't think anybody in the stadium expected that. We had all the momentum. So
I got his name wrong. I said Alex. It's Athen. So I'm sorry. That was my fault.
Yeah, so. All good there. All good. Well, I think that kid played really well. I think that turned the tide of the game. I think that was huge for them to win ultimately. But mine's going to be Ibrahim, the running back. And I think that, going into this week, we knew he'd be the guy that we needed to stop. The game plan was stop the run, stop the run, stop the run. We did a great job in the first half. I think he had 16 yards total rushing in the first half. Obviously, that didn't carry on into the second half. But I thought, again, he's a pro back. He's going to get drafted. He's been there, it seems like, 15 years. He's a sixth-year guy because of COVID. But 138 yards on 32 carries and 2 touchdowns. He's a beast. He's carried Minnesota's offense since he's been there. So
that's able
to keep him bottled up.
Did he gain more yards against us than Chase Brown last weekend?
I think he did. Yeah. Chase Brown, I think, had 129. I can't remember. But
and next week we've got another good back with Michigan. They're all kind of smaller, fast, stout back. What's the kid from Michigan? Is it Cornum or Cronum or
Blake Corum?
Yeah, he's good too. He's kind of small.
He's phenomenal.